Imagine waking up on a Tuesday morning and deciding you want to buy the moon. Not a telescope to look at it, but the actual physical rights to the land. In 2026, the world's most powerful people have moved past the phase of buying stuff. They are now buying things that shouldn't be for sale. We are entering a new era of ownership where the price tag is secondary to the sheer impossibility of the purchase. From the tech titan who spent a fortune to build a clock that will tick for 10,000 years, to the private citizens building their own independent nations on the high seas, this is a journey into the absolute limits of human desire. If you want to understand the reality that the top 1% is building for themselves, you need to be here. Hit that subscribe button for Arcaby right now. We don't just follow the money, we follow the vision that most people are too afraid to even imagine. Subscribe and join the inner circle. Our story begins with the most expensive piece of paper in human history. In 1994, Bill Gates attended an auction with one goal: to own the Codex Leicester. It is a 72-page notebook written by Leonardo da Vinci. Over 500 years ago, Gates paid $30.8 million for it, roughly $420,000 for every single page. But he didn't put it in a safe. He had every page digitally scanned and turned into a screensaver for Windows 95, so that millions of people could see the genius of Da Vinci on their computers. To Gates, the $30 million wasn't just for the paper. It was a move to link his own legacy of software with the greatest inventor in history. It was a purchase of intellectual territory. But as we move closer to today, the spending has shifted from the past to the future. In the deserts of West Texas, Jeff Bezos is currently spending $42 million on a project called the Clock of the Long Now. It is a massive mechanical clock, hundreds of feet tall, designed to keep time for the next 10 millennia. It ticks only once a year, and the century hand moves once every 100 years. Why spend $40 million on a clock that no one living today will ever see finish its cycle? Because when you have more money than you can spend in a lifetime, you start investing in things that outlast humanity itself. You aren't buying a clock, you are buying a monument to your own existence. Stay with me, because as we move from the desert to the private islands, the rules of reality start to bend. Consider the story of Sheikh Hamid, a billionaire who decided that his name needed to be visible from the stars. He didn't just write it in the sand, he had engineers carve the name Hamid into his private island of Al-Futaysi. The letters were so large, 2 miles long and half a mile high, that they formed a series of canals that filled with the tide. It was a signature so massive, it was literally carved into the crust of the earth and could be seen by satellites. He spent $22 million just to say, "I was here," to the entire universe. And then there is the Sultan of Brunei. Most people buy a car. The Sultan bought 7,000. His collection is valued at over $5 billion and includes prototypes that were never meant for the public, including a Ferrari wagon and a Bentley SUV built decades before the company ever released one. He reportedly once spent $21,000 just to fly his favorite barber from London to Asia in a private first-class cabin to avoid germs. To the Sultan, money isn't a resource, it's a shield that protects him from the minor inconveniences of being human. If you're finding these glimpses into the 2026 elite life fascinating, make sure you're staying updated with us. This is the level of insight you can only find here. Now, let's look at the Antilia. This isn't a house. It's a 27-story skyscraper in Mumbai built for just one family. It cost $1 billion to construct. It has a staff of 600 people, 3 helipads, and a snow room that blasts man-made snowflakes to escape the Indian heat. But the most insane part is the garage. It has 6 floors dedicated to 168 cars, with its own private service station. In a city where millions live in the shadow of this tower, the Antilia stands as a $2 billion statement on the absolute separation of classes. But even a skyscraper is fixed in one place. That's why the new trend for 2026 is the Sovereign vessel. We are seeing billionaires move their lives onto super yachts like the Eclipse, which features a missile defense system and an anti-paparazzi laser. This laser scans the surrounding area for the light-sensitive elements in digital cameras and fires a beam of light directly into the lens to destroy the photo before it can even be taken. It is a $1.5 billion fortress of privacy. They aren't just buying a boat, they are buying a territory where the laws of land don't apply. The dark truth of these stories is that the ultra-wealthy are no longer buying luxury, they are buying exemption. They are paying to be exempt from aging, exempt from the law, and exempt from the eyes of the public. They buy meteorite tables and T-Rex skeletons because those things are finite. You can't print more of them. In a world where anything can be manufactured, the only thing that matters is what is rare. As we reach the end of this journey through the vaults, ask yourself, is the goal of wealth to have everything, or is it to need nothing? The $30 million notebook is still just paper. The 2-mile-long name in the sand will eventually be reclaimed by the ocean. But for a brief moment in time, these individuals proved that if you have enough zeros in your bank account, the world is whatever you say it is. Now you know the stories that the shadows hide. If you want to keep exploring the secret world of the elite, make sure to hit like and check out the next video on your screen right now. I'm RKB, and I'll see you in the next one.